My dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, as I told you, today we are celebrating the feast of Saint Jane Frances de Chantal. She was born in the year 1572 and she died in the year 1641. That means she lived around 69 years on this earth. Jane was the daughter of the president of the Parliament of Burgundy. So she came from the rich family. And at the age of 20, she was wedded to the Christopher. And she had 7 children, and out of them, 3 could not survive. And at the age of 28, the Christopher, her husband, died, leaving her with the 4 children. And she became a widow at the age of 28, my dear friends. One day, she happened to hear the sermon, the preaching by Francis de Sales, and it touched her heart. And she decided to serve God, to leave everything and to come to the service of God. So she took Francis de Sales as her spiritual director. And we know Saint Francis de Sales is the patron saint of all the MSFS fathers. And also he is the one who said, "Bloom wherever you are planted." This is his famous quotation. Bloom wherever you are planted. And with his guidance and with his support, with his spiritual advice, she was able to start the Order of the Visitation of Mary. She started the congregation, the name, the Order of the Visitation of Mary. And after the death of Francis de Sales, she has taken Vincent de Paul as the spiritual director of the congregation, my dear friends. And the Vincent de Paul described Jane as one of the holiest souls that I have ever met. Vincent de Paul was saying about Jane, saying that she is one of the finest souls that I have ever met in my life. And at the age of 69, Jane was invited to Paris by the Queen. She went there, and as she was coming back, she fell ill and she died in one of her convents. After her death, her body was taken and kept near to the body of the Francis de Sales, my dear friends. And the remarkable things that we can notice in her life is Margaret Mary Alacoque. I think all of us know about the devotion to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Saint Margaret Mary Alacoque. She is the one who came from this order, the Visitation of the Mary. She is originally belonging to this congregation, Margaret Mary Alacoque. And another one is, which she is the patron saint of all the forgotten people. And she is also the patron saint for all those people who are having the family issues because of the in-laws. We have the in-laws in the family, so she is the patron saint for all that. And she is also the patron saint of all the children who lost their parents, and of all the parents who are separated from their children. So today we have to pray very specially for all the people who are forgotten, and for all the orphans who doesn't have the parents, and for all the old people who are separated, who are left by their children, who are living in the old age homes and who are having the family issues through her intercession, my dear friends. So today in the gospel also we see the community aspect is stressed so much. Our family should be considered as the mini church. Our family is the domestic church, one of the popes said. So also the church also should be considered as one of our family. So we have to pray for the church. We have to pray for the community members. Whoever is having the problems, whoever is having the issues, we need to pray for our church and church members, my dear friends. we know the magnet. When you keep the two magnets, what happens? Know the magnet, no? When you keep the magnets, what happens? They are attracted to each other. And if you bring one magnet to the piece of iron, what happens? The piece of iron is attracted to the magnet. And if you keep it for some time, the iron also becomes the magnet. It also can attract another piece of iron. So this is what the community helps us. The community is like the magnet. Jesus, Mother Mary, Joseph, and all the saints, and all the believers, they are like the magnet. And if somebody who is like an iron coming inside of the community, what happens? Slowly, the piece of iron becomes like a magnet, and it also will get the ability to attract another person. As individuals, we are weak. As individuals, we have our own limitations. But when we come to the church, when we come to the community, when we are together, then that becomes our strength. That is why the community aspect is so much stressed in our Catholic Church, my dear friends. And most of the time, we will be saying that I can pray individually. I can grow in my spiritual life individually. But today, Jesus is saying, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am present. And where 2 people agree on something and pray and ask about anything, that will be surely granted. According to Matthew 6:6, we say that when you pray, go to your room, pray secretly, so that the Heavenly Father will grant you. And so many people will depend on this one. They will lean on these words and say, I can pray personally. See, there are 2 kinds of prayers. Personal prayer and the community prayer. Which is more convenient for us? Personal prayer or the community prayer? Which is more convenient? Personal prayer, because whenever we want, we will start. Whatever we want, we will say. Whenever we want to finish, we will finish. But the community prayer, you have to agree with each other. When everybody is sitting, you have to sit. When everybody is standing, you have to stand. When everybody is kneeling, you have to kneel down. When everybody is saying, Our Father, you have to pray. So this is not more convenient. So that is why people love the personal prayer. They say, when I pray, I go to my room and pray secretly. I don't want to participate in the community aspect. See, you may be weak in your life. You may be having, sometimes because of your limitations, you might have fallen down. But when you come to the church, by seeing the other people, by listening to the witnesses of other people, your faith also will be renewed. There are many times I come to the church with a lot of no enthusiasm to participate in the mass, to preach also. But when I come, when I see maybe the choir is singing beautifully, the beautiful song, when I hear the beautiful song, then I will be inspired also to join with them. And when I see some people who are participating in the mass, who are very enthusiastic to listen to the preaching, by seeing their faces, my faith also will be renewed and I will be coming into the mood of prayer. So this is, the community helps us. So that is why today Jesus is saying that give more importance to the community. Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I will be present with them. And if they agree on something and pray, then I am going to grant it to them, my dear friends. And today's gospel, if you have a knife, you can take it and cut it into 2 pieces. The first one is the fraternal correction. The first part is the fraternal correction. The second part is gathering together in prayer, my dear friends. If you see the book of Deuteronomy portrays God's people as a community where evil and virtue, where death and life, where loss and hope exist side by side. What is the church? The church is not a community of the saints. The church is a community of the sinners. Most of us and all of us are sinners. We are not saints. The church is the community of the sinners. the weak people. The church is not the community of the saints. The sinners in the process are becoming the saints, my dear friends. So, as the individuals, we have to come to the church. And today, Jesus is saying, each one of us is responsible for the whole Christian community. As individual, you have the responsibility towards the Christian community. Once it seems, number 9 gave a big slap on the face of number 8. And the number 8 asked, why did you beat me? Then the number 9 said, I am elder to you. I am elder to you. I have every right to beat you. Number 8 understood the logic. And what number 8 did is, it gave one big slap to number 7. When 7 asked the reason, the 8 gave the reason what was given by 9 to 8. Now 7 gave a big slap to 6. 6 gave big slap to 5. 5 to 4. 4 to 3. 3 to 2. 2 to 1. And now 1 is ready to give a big slap to the number 0. And 0 is afraid. 0 doesn't want to come near to the 1 because it is going to get a big slap. So 0 was afraid and hiding. Then the number 1 said, why are you hiding? Why are you going far away? Come near to me. I like you so much. I love you so much. And with lots of love and affection, it brought number 0 near to number 1. And my dear friends, when 0 came near to number 1, the value of number 1 changed. How much it became? How much it became? 1 became 10. When 1 became 10, who is afraid now? Until then, 9 is thinking that I am the biggest number. Nobody is bigger than me. When 1 became 10, now 9 is afraid of that 10. So also, my dear friends, in the community, all of us are weak. We have our own limitations. But when we are only correcting and finding fault with the others, criticizing, gossiping, we are destroying our own Catholic Church. What we have to do instead is, we have to love one another. We have to bear one another. We have to correct one another. We have to grow in our faith together, my dear friends. That is why the individuality is not given more importance in the Catholic Church. The community aspect is given more importance, and each and every individual, my dear friends, has the responsibility towards the Christian community. And I would like to give you some examples. Today also, correcting. We have to correct. That is what the gospel is saying. For example, the father and son, both of them took the bus and they are going to the city. And as they entered the bus, the conductor said that you don't need to take 2 full tickets because your son is looking much younger to his age. Father asked for 2 full tickets. But conductor is giving a suggestion, you don't need to take full ticket, take half ticket. That is enough because your son is looking much younger to his age. Now what this father will do? What this father will do? Suppose if you are there, what you will do? The conductor is asking, take half ticket, it is enough. If you are there, what you would do? Will you take 2 full tickets or 1.5 ticket? Now, maybe another example. Mother and daughter, they went to the supermarket. The shopping was done, they came back home. After coming back home, the daughter, the small daughter, was showing her candy, which was successfully stolen from the supermarket. Now, what mother would do? And if you are there, what you would do? What we would do? I am sure that naturally it happens. The father will be very happy to take 1.5 ticket. He will not take 2 full tickets. The mother also will be very happy. Oh, my girl is very smart. Without being noticed, she brought the candy and she will be telling to everybody, she will be praising her. But if you are a real Christian father, if you are a real Christian mother, what you have to do is, immediately you have to tell to the conductor, I know my son is looking younger to his age, but I want to bring him up with sincerity and honesty from his childhood. I don't want half ticket. Give the full ticket. If you are a true Christian father, if you want to bring up your child in the Christian values and principles, you will teach the child from the childhood onwards. And if you are a true Christian mother, what you would do? Instead of praising her, you will take her back again to the supermarket and ask her to return that candy to the shop owner and say sorry to the shop owner. Today, Jesus is saying, if you find someone who had done mistake, who had sinned against you or against anybody, it is your responsibility to correct them. Each and every one of us have to correct. Maybe they are our family members, maybe they are your sons, maybe they are your daughters, maybe they are your loved ones. When you find that they are doing something mistake, it is your responsibility to correct them, to guide them, to give proper suggestions. In the Bible we see the prophet Eli, and he had 2 sons. How they were? They were not good sons. They were doing something bad against the church, in the temple. They were doing all useless things. He was not able to correct them. He was not able to guide them. He knows that they are doing sin. But prophet Eli was not able to correct his own sons. How are we? Are we able to correct our own family members, brothers, sisters, sons and daughters when they are not in the proper line, when they are not living according to the Christian values and principles, my dear friends? And Matthew 18:15 says, today's gospel only, all should be considered as the brothers. See, blood is thicker than the water. We love our own family members, but we don't love all the Christian members as our brothers and sisters. Today's gospel is saying, consider everybody as your brothers and sisters. They may not be your family members. They may be the Christians, or they may not be even the Christians. All the humanity, you must be able to consider them as your brothers and sisters. And what happens in our family? What happens in our family? Suppose something had happened in the family, or maybe in this context, one fellow got the coronavirus. Okay, one of our family member has the positive. Will you call everybody and say? Will you call everybody and say? Will you forward everybody and say, my son is having the corona positive? Will you say? You will not say. Keep it as a secret. Don't tell anyone. Because this is the family secret. If one is happy in our family, all of us are happy. If one is sick in the family, and all of us feel that sorrow. So, in our family, we maintain the secrets. We don't want to spoil the name of our family members. But what happens in the church? What happens in the church? You hear something about the priest. You hear something about the sister. You hear something about the choir. And you don't know whether it is true or not. You just hear immediately after the church service. When you go back, what you do? You call everybody and say, they may be in Tamil Nadu, they may be in Kerala. You go and say, in our church this happened, this priest did like this. And we forward the WhatsApp messages, and we don't verify whether it is true or not. And we will be saying, I know this priest will do like this. I have doubt about this fellow. From the beginning onwards, I have suspicion about them. Without verifying, what you are doing? You are simply spreading the rumors. You are killing your own brothers and sisters in the Christian community. Like number 9 slapping number 8, like number 8 slapping number 7. What are we doing? And that is why Jesus is giving us today the process. When you find somebody who has done mistake against you, Jesus is saying, you must be the first person to take the initiative. Take the initiative and go to the person. And what he is saying? Talk to that person one to one. Make him to realize one to one Don't bring any other fellow. Go to the person directly. Sit personally. Have a personal dialogue. Talk to him heart to heart. And suppose if that person is not able to recognize his mistake, not able to accept his mistake, then what you have to do the second process? Take him to one or two witnesses. And that should be a mediator. He should not be taking your side. When you take the mediator, be careful that you have to take the mediator who is neutral person. And you have to meet in the neutral place and try to convince that person this mistake you had committed. Even if that person was not able to be convinced about the mistake, then the third process is take him to the church, take him to the community, take him to the religious authorities and try to convince him. And even if that fellow is not able to, ready to change, ready to accept, then the last process is consider him as the pagan. Then consider him as the tax collector. I am very sure none of us who are sitting here, none of us who are watching online is following the process that is given by Jesus. Very, very important process. Take the person, go and meet the person personally, then afterwards take to the mediator, then afterwards take to the church. But instead of this, what we are doing? We are only calling and spreading the rumors about our own brothers and sisters. That is why Saint Clement says, for the sake of each one of us, he laid down his life for us, and in return, he demands of us our lives for the sake of each other. And in Genesis chapter 4, verse 9, God is asking Cain, Cain, where is your brother? And what the Cain is saying? What is saying? I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper? I don't have any responsibility towards my brother. I don't know where he is going. I don't know where he is. So also we must not be able to say like the Cain. It is our responsibility. In today's first reading also, God is talking to Ezekiel. Prophet Ezekiel have to be the watchman for all the people. He has to watch over and he has to correct, he has to guide. If you are not correcting, if you are not guiding your brother and sister, and he is going to ask you there. And you must not be able to say like Cain, am I my brother's keeper? Am I my sister's keeper? Galatians chapter 6 verse 2 says, bear one another's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ by being one another, by collectively deciding one another's to solve the common problems. We reduce human sufferings and foster happiness and peace in our lives, my dear friends. When somebody has done something against you, you have to take initiative and go to the person. And the point which I would like to highlight is, the last point is, consider him as the pagan and the tax collector. When I heard the word about the tax collector, it left me with a shock. Because here, who is speaking these words? Jesus is giving us the process. What he is giving us? First, go and meet personally. Then, 2 or 3 witnesses. Then, to the church. And finally, consider him as the pagan or the tax collector. Jesus is saying. But what Jesus did? What Jesus did in his life? He went and called the Matthew, the tax collector, as one of his disciples. He is saying, consider that person as the tax collector. And what he did? He called the tax collector as one of his apostles. And now who is writing this one? Okay, Jesus said this one. Who wrote this one? Matthew. And who was Matthew? Matthew was the tax collector. And Matthew is saying, consider that fellow as the tax collector. Leave him. Consider him as the pagan. What does it mean, considering somebody as the pagan? What does it mean, considering somebody as the tax collector? Which means he is no more brother or sister to you. Which means he is excommunicated from the church. which means the believers should not have any relationship with him. This is the teaching of the church. And I will give you the biblical references. That will be your homework to read, because when we read here, somebody yesterday messaged me and said, Father, try to finish it by 8:50, 9 o'clock onwards, we have the online teachings and so on. So we will try to finish it. So 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 verse 6, 1 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 5, 1 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 13, 2 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 1 to 3. You can see why a person is considered as the pagan, as the tax collector, when he is not ready to be changed. And two kinds of punishments. It is not, Bible is not saying that you should not give the punishments. We have to give the punishments. But why we have to give the punishments, that is the question. Two kinds of punishments. When you give the punishment, what happens? When you give the punishment, suppose somebody has done something against me and I have to give punishment. So when I give the punishment, what happens to me? When I give the punishment to the other, what happens to me? I feel better, isn't it? I feel better. So the one who gave the punishment is feeling better. That is why he wants to give the punishment. That is one. The second one is, the one who received the punishment becomes better. If you understand the difference, there is a lot of difference. The one who gave the punishment feels better. The one who received the punishment becomes better. Which is better one? The first one or the second one? What should be the purpose of our punishment? Should be always the second one. Oftentimes, until and unless we give the punishment, we will not be happy. That fellow should be punished. I have to beat that fellow. I have to do something, because we want to feel better. Selfish. Why you have to give the punishment? So that by your punishment, the other person becomes better in his life. He will change his ways. He will come back to the Lord. So give the punishment with the motive of love, with the motive that they have to be converted. In the Bible, the whole Bible, if you understand the message, Yahweh has given to the people of Israel so many punishments, isn't it? So many times punishment. But what is the motive? Not to destroy them. Not to destroy them. What is the motive? So that they will be converted. So that they will come back to the Lord. Give the punishment. Correct the people. Give the suggestions with the motive of love. With the motive that they will be converted in their life, my dear friends. And this week I went my home, no? And I was talking to my mother while she was cooking. So she was preparing the curry of brinjal, no? So I don't know how much of cooking. So I will be observing these days to learn also some cooking. So as she was cutting the brinjals, no, in small pieces, one of the brinjal was spoiled. I thought my mother will throw it off. But what my mother did, she took the knife and she cut the spoiled part very skillfully, and she removed that, and another part she cut the normal way, and she cooked the curry. This has given me an important lesson. A simple brinjal, the part which is spoiled was removed, and the other part which was good was used as the delicious curry. Now, the human beings, our brothers and sisters, our relationships are more valuable, I think, than the vegetable. That is why somebody says, even the stopped watch is correct twice a day, isn't it? Even the stopped watch is correct twice a day. Suppose the watch is stopped at 9 o'clock. It is correct in the morning, 9 o'clock. It is correct in the night, 9 o'clock. Even the stopped watch is correct twice a day, and it has got its own value. So we are all created in the image and likeness of God. None of us is perfect, including you and me. We all have the weaknesses, but we should not leave the people just because they did something against you. You have to correct them. You have to bring them back, my dear friends. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Have to Jesus for the cleansing power? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Are you fully trusting in His grace this hour? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Are you washed in the blood? In the soul cleansing blood of the Lamb. Are your garments spotless? Are they white as snow? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb?